Hey everyone, it's Jason from Grand Slam, and this is a Secret War Journal special edition. Man, my life has just been a little wacky. I actually started a new gym routine, so that's sucking up a lot of my time. I've been reading everything. I just haven't really had time to record. And when you skip one week there were 16 books. I was going to do a two-parter, and then I kind of put that off, and then another week showed up, and then another week showed up. So man, this is a this is 13. This is weeks 14, 15, and 16. Now I'm not going to do all of them. Let me just show you. This is what's come out in the last 3 weeks. This is 33 titles plus two Deadpool books that I don't have here, and that's a lot of books. So it's hard to keep up with all this stuff, as you probably know if you are a reader. So, anyways, I'm just gonna run past. Just give you a quick rundown. I'm kind of looking here to see what I was going to talk about. I'm going to give you a rundown of some select titles. Most of these books are going to be either concluding stories or they're going to be one shots, or they're just going to be books that, like, oh man, I want to talk about that. So I assure you, this is, I said, 14, 15, 16. Week 17 will be coming in its entirety. I'll be getting back on schedule. So I do apologize if you've been keeping up with this. I was trying to do it and I just couldn't. So let's get going here. One shot, Howard the Human. So this is a book written by Scotty Young. The art's not done by him, but Howard the Human is basically it's a one shot alternate take of Howard. He's not Howard the Duck. He's Howard the Human. He's in a world full of animals. So neat little one shot, little detective story. He's kind of like a noir detective, kind of doing his own thing. It's a neat little book. Very Scotty Young humor. There's a daredevil that's a blind mouse. So it's got some fun stuff in there. Secret Wars, Secret Love is another one shot. This is a series of about 5 stories. They're all kind of love themed. The first major story is by Michael Fife. And Michael Fife is the guy who does Cobra comics. And he has a very distinct art style. And this is actually some of the better art that I've seen him do, in that the backgrounds are really a lot more detailed. That's one of my problems with his stuff. But he's a big Daredevil fan. This is a very much a throwback to the late 80s, early 90s. So he's kind of that from that era. So that's really cool that he did a little story. And then, of course, there's a story of Kamala Khan and Robbie Reyes. I mean, just the Kamala Khan, she's like, yay, love and stuff. And I'm happy. Fun stuff. This is a cool little one-shot. Definitely want to check that out if you like Kamala Khan, if you're into Michael Fife, if you like Daredevil. My last one-shot, this book was awesome. Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra. So not a lot of funny books make me laugh. This book was very, very funny. I don't know much about the writer here. Mandel and Walsh do the art. David Mandel, it's probably someone I'm supposed to know. This is just a very funny book. It's basically about a guy who's working for Hydra, and it's like a day job for him, and he has a wife and kids, and they're all evil. His kids go to like Modoc school, elementaries, and he's doing a job, and he clocks in, he gets punched by Captain America, one of his cohorts gets killed, and he's just got to move on, and he's dealing with getting tickets for Knicks games and going to PTA meetings, and his job, like Madam Hyde is the best version of Madam Hydra I've seen in a while. This is a funny book. If you find this one shot, it is totally worth the read. Get this book. This is like Jason telling you, find this book and get it. All right, so now on to the more traditional Battleworld stuff. 1872 number 2. I wanted to highlight this because I like the Old West stuff, and this one got really dark. Basically, Captain Rogers, Sheriff Rogers, he's like he's the good, upstanding. It's a classic Old Western story where you have this guy standing up against all the evil that's going down in Timely. Bullseye, he's a bad guy here. It's just very traditional Old Western kind of stuff. Definitely check this series out. It's a lot of fun. I was really impressed with it. It took a dark turn in this one. We get to see Tony Stark is kind of like the town drunk, and he needs to, kind of step up, and something bad happens to Sheriff Rogers. And of course, Bullseye's there. It's just, a whole cadre of evil people, and, you got to stand up for what's right. Great Western story. I like Westerns. I love High Noon, the movie, that kind of theme. It's, Westerns and comic books. Who knew, right? They've never really been able to do it well. I think this book does it good. That's not this book, though. This is Where Monsters Dwell. Issue number 4, I believe. I told you last time Garth Ennis kind of jumped the shark and like it got really wacky and kind of weird and not good. And it says parental advisory on here, which is out of the blue. So kids, don't get this book. But if you like kind of weird, creepy stuff going on, this is the book. Our hero obviously got in some trouble, and now he escapes, and now he's gonna exact his revenge on these women who are just really mean to him. And I don't know what this has to do with Battleworld, but what a wacky story. You know, Garth Ennis being involved in a big multi crossover never made any sense. So this is a good book for him to kind of work out his whatever he thinks of superhero books. So definitely check that one out. Old Man Logan issue number 4. People rant and rave about Old Man Logan. This book is cool. The art is very cool. I believe this artist, if I could find the name, I don't want to butcher it, is Andrea Sorrentino. Beautiful art all the way through, very stylistic. Lots of really cool stuff going on in here. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis. Old Man Logan, he's never been one of my favorite stories, but this one in particular, he's just it's him taking a tour through Battleworld, and the geography makes no sense, zero sense. In this one, he ends up on the other side of the wall. He just murders the heck out of robots and zombies, mostly zombies. Runs into She-Hulk. She-Hulk's like, I'm gonna throw you over the wall. Throws him over the wall, and he ends up in Doomstadt, which is where Dr. Doom's at. So we'll see what Old Man Logan does with the Doom thing. But once again, the geography doesn't make sense if you look at the maps. Like the wall is like right here, and then Doomstadt is like up here. So that didn't throw. So I don't know if it was like Brian Michael Bendis wrote the story based on like, oh, here's what some of the worlds will be like, but they didn't get that cool map that I've talked about before. So kind of a failing of things, but still a cool story. Old Man Logan's going to be a comic book. He's going to be a character recurring, so check it out. People are into it. Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies. I believe this is the concluding issue. If I'm holding the right one, I'll just look at the last page here to see. Yeah, and so this one, I've talked about it before. This book was really cool. You kind of have Hank Pym from the Timely universe. He's like having to work with the other three, and it's Toro from, or not Toro, but a guy like Toro, and then you got Vision, then you have Simon Williams, Wonder Man, and basically they ex machina figure out how to defeat the combined forces of the Age of Ultron and the zombies, and so they team up and they're gonna take them down. So it says it's supposed to be Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies. It is not them fighting each other. It's them allying against the good people that have lived on the other side of the wall of the shield. So this concluded very, very kind of like, is this how all these books are going to conclude? They're just kind of going to be like, okay. Because every time you feel like you're getting to the end of these things, it's going to have something to do with the end game of the whole Secret Wars that Hickman's writing. But it doesn't. So once again, we're kind of learning that these are just cool self-contained stories. Future Imperfect issue number 5. This is a great book by Peter David, a great little mini series. Basically, in this one, the idea is that we finally get to see Maestro. He gets to the destroyer machine, and he's like, I'm going to use this, and we find out what the whole origin and what the purpose of the destroyer machine is to make your dreams come true. And so his dream is to kill Doom and take over Battleworld, and he does it, or does he? So got to read about the issue in here, but this is the concluding issue. Once again, nothing really affecting the Secret Wars timeline, but it is in the whole Battleworld story. It is an amusing story. Peter David always brings his A game when it comes to this kind of stuff. And of course, we all know Maestro is going to be returning in the all new, all different Marvel. So people like Maestro. Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde issue number 3. This is actually a concluding issue. We kind of see these two have their hijinks at the end. They kind of have to do battle with Gambit. They kind of work a way around how to defeat him. And, things happen and it's fun. This book it started off really good, and 3 issues just wasn't enough. But Stan Humphries is going to continue probably to write this whole drama, this whole relationship between Kitty Pryde and Star-Lord, Peter Quill, and it's great. If you like that power couple, it's just so fun. And so I'll take any issue of them just kind of bantering and being in love, and Peter Quill he writes a good Peter Quill. And Kitty Pryde is awesome. Like, if you don't like Kitty Pryde, I don't know what's wrong with you. So this was a pretty fun book. And there's just great humor stuff in here. You know, they find Rocket Raccoon's tail, and you know, Peter Quill's like, oh, it's Rocket Raccoon's tail. I miss you, Rocket. So there's some fun stuff in here. So hopefully we'll see how the story concludes for Peter Quill. But basically in the end, at Casablanca, and it just kind of, you know, oh, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. So fun stuff with Drax, of course. He doesn't make off with a girl, he makes off with a guy. So not that they're together. If you're in the, you know, whatever. I'm just gonna put my foot in my mouth. World number 3. World is such a cool book. The art, Del Mundo's art is incredible. The writing is, you know, it's fun. It's a throwback to an old book from the 80s, and it definitely has that feel to it. I've never read any of these. I might go back and read some of these Crystar and Archon books that we have them, back issues at Grand Slam. You could check them out. They're worth $1 million now because of, no, they're not worth anything at all. But check out Crystar. We learn about him in here. You know, we have Archon teaming up with not Crystar, but I think his name was Warbund. Or you're gonna watch me read this. I think this is the best part of these videos is I have to look up stuff. Warbow he's a friend of Crystar, and he's a crystal warrior, and he's like trying to recover all of his crystal warrior friends, but they're in shards and bags. Anyways, it gives a new map to Archon. Archon goes off. He goes to a bar, and then there's a guy who's been dispatched by an assassin who's been dispatched by lady. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. So many books. She's pretty important. She's really cool too. Yeah, I can't remember her name. It's from Arthurian legend. You can watch me read this. So she dispatches an assassin. They fight. Boom. Like that's what's going on in here. This has been picked up. There's going to be a new book coming out for this in the all new, all different Marvel. Art by Del Mundo. The best part of this book is the art. I mean, I'll just open it to. I mean, you can just see full. It's like cool painted. I mean, not a lot of comics look like this right now. So check this one out. We have it on the shelf at Grand Slam. My last picks, real quick, is House of M1 and House of M2. I don't think I've talked about these. I love House of M. I love the whole idea. This is like House of M was like this whole Battleworld thing is a lot like House of M. The House of M story where we get to see these alternate storylines. In this one, the Baron is Magneto, and he has his family, and they're in charge, and the mutants are in charge, and we kind of see what the status quo is all about, and see what members of the family, which is Scarlet Witch and Polaris and all them, and the positions of power that they have. Quicksilver, and he's an emissary, and you see that kind of stuff. In this issue, we kind of see the battle pick up. Quicksilver's an emissary to Namor. He's trying to scheme against Magneto, because you know it's what Quicksilver does. He's like scheming against his dad. And so that happens, but there's all sorts of other crazy stuff going on. You find out Fing Fang Foom is just kind of like hanging out. You know, Magneto keeps him as a pet. You know, Magneto's bored because there's no war. So now there's a war. So Magneto's like, yes, I can finally be back at war. Because, you know, he gets bored if there's not conflict, I guess, in this version of the House of M. Because he's got everything that he wants. So obviously he's going to get bored and want to fight. So anyways, House of M is really cool. It's a really cool book. Dennis Hopeless has the characterization, everything down, so it's a fun book to read. What does this have to do with anything? Who knows with the Battleworld? All these books is just kind of fun stuff. So there you have it. That's my picks. Not that there aren't other good titles in here. So my favorite books are in here. Well, those are the ones I wanted to highlight. Also new books that are out on the shelf. So we're still continuing. Week 17 is just around the corner. So if you like these, please, you know, if you come into the store, go to your local store and pick up these books, take some of these recommendations to heart, and you can try them out and bring them into your heart and just kind of love Battleworld, because it's almost over and we're going to move on to a new world, a whole new, all different Marvel. So once again, I'm Jason Keene. I work at Grand Slam Sports Cards and Comics in Loveland, Colorado, 1730 West Eisenhower. You can find us at Facebook, which is Grand Slam Comics, facebook.com, Grand Slam Comics. And, of course, you can find us on Twitter at Team Grand Slam. So check me out there. I'll try to tweet more when I can. And hopefully if you're at the Fort Collins Comic Convention, I'll see you there. We're going to be doing a panel with comic historians. So lots of fun stuff, lots of cool stuff. That's it. That's my video today. Week 17 around the corner. I will be back. Thanks for tuning in.